Okay, last topic.
Yes.
Oh boy,
Bill
thank
Cosby
God.
doc.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ, Bill.
We do that
I almost
now?
forgot
Oh my God. me
all
too.
about this.
Holy
I've been having
shit.
fun this whole time. I've been having big fun.
Oh,
and now you're going to bring this
shit.
up?
Yo, I forgot. Yo.
Shit.
Damn. Oh,
This is usually
shit.
me that brings things down. And you did this?
I'm stressed out, yo. Damn.
Yo,
So
I don't-
watch. In my head, I was like, watch this, Jen. Watch
So
this. Watch what
I'll
happens.
start off with,
Oh, my-
if you are one of those people that love Bill Cosby, don't watch this.
No, watch it.
Watch it.
Watch it.
You need to know.
And I'll be honest, this is full transparency. Because I'm honest with myself. I still love Bill Cosby. When I don't love what he did. But the reality of it is this man has been in my life
Forever.
like
Literally, though, your whole life.
yeah. So even watching the doc with all the terrible stuff that happened, the first half of the first episode did this. Right?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Made me feel good. I said, I ain't know.
I had no idea.
And then gut punch. Bow.
Boom. And you're only in episode 1.
And I it only hurts me because I'm disappointed. And
Bill,
I'm angry.
You have felt nothing.
Oh shit.
It's bad.
It's-
So if you don't know what we're talking about, sorry,
Oh,
guys.
sorry guys, sorry.
Showtime released on January 30th a 4-part documentary by W. Kamau Bell. Is that
Yes.
his name?
Yep, come on.
It's not a documentary about Bill Cosby and what's been alleged against him. Kind of like, it's not like the R. Kelly exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more about, we need to talk about what this is, because honestly, as black people, when we have trauma, we don't talk about it.
Talk about it.
We laugh, we make fun of it. But we never talk about
At
it.
best.
Yeah.
And then that's it. It's swept under the rug. There are a lot of people of all races who have, even in their own family, a person who's been accused of, or everybody knows it, or whatever, who touched somebody in the family who they shouldn't have, or touched somebody, or did something inappropriate with somebody, and everybody just like, well, that's
kinda
Uncle
what it
Ray.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. And
Family secret. You just kind of.
and you just leave it alone.
Yep.
So Bill Cosby is like black people's family secret.
Hmm.
And so what he did was he brought this collection of people together, not to condemn him, not to shame him or expose him, because everything that was talked about is already out. It's on the internet. It's on,
Right.
But it was, let's sit down and have a conversation about it
And let each individual speak their truth about this gentleman.
in different lights.
Right.
Some people who were victimized, some people who worked with him and love him and idolize him, some people who just watched him from afar, and just different people. And it's a really deep insight and great conversation, but it's just tough.
Did we say the name of the doc already?
No.
It's called We Need to Talk About Bill Cosby. About Cosby. We need to talk about Cosby.
Yes, it's a 4-part.
Yeah,
Each part is an hour, I believe.
Yeah. And if I may say, beautifully filmed
Well
this
done.
documentary.
Very well done.
Well done.
Bro, from like a cinematography, editing perspective, I'm stealing Matt. If you notice certain things that look familiar in the
I
videos
love
that we
the
do,
way he puts even the names of the people's names in there.
stealing it. the exact
line.
animation, I'm
I
stealing.
love
It's
it.
going to be in the.
And I love the timeline.
Yep.
Because
Beautiful.
it makes it easy to digest what
Mm-hmm.
are we looking at. But yeah, I watched the last 2 episodes last night, so I've watched all 4, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I gotta watch it again.
Really?
Yeah, I watched the first one again today, but because it's so much that it's like you can't even absorb it all the first time.
After the first episode, I said, "Yo, they ain't even really talking about nothing yet. This is heavy."
Damn.
I felt heavy. Like,
I was telling the wife, like, oh, I heard, did you hear about the new documentary? She's like, I can't watch it.
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Y'all said it gets worse?
oh bim. It gets so my takeaway from it was when you you procrastinate and you procrastinate and then you kind of get away with it once and you're like, easy, okay, now I know I can push it to this point and still be okay.
Yeah.
That is what he reminded me of. Like he kind of was just like, oh well, I'm gonna try this and it worked.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get better at it.
I'm gonna try this and it worked. I'm gonna keep doing it. And then he just kind of got like, I almost feel like like cocky,
Yeah,
like
cocky. Yeah.
I'm like drunk with power. Like I'm going to keep pushing this envelope, and no one's gonna say anything to me.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna keep going, and I'm gonna keep going. And it's not gonna be a thing because I am who I am.
Celebrity is so weird. And I'm gonna fold one of my things into this conversation. Rest in peace to Miss USA.
man.
I had her name. Hold on.
That was so
on,
sad.
I'm gonna just get her name right.
You know,
Correct me if I'm
Monday.
wrong. Chesley Christ or Christ.
I'm not sure actually.
But yeah, she took her own life. And people were kind of. I saw something that she had written regarding like trying to like attain certain things and still not being happy in the end. Celebrity is weird. Like we seen it with celebrities who kind of like get miserable or get drunk with power.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how long he's been popping.
Oh my God.
Yo, like, because you see, Bill Cosby as a kid, he always had, even when he was young, an old face.
Yeah.
Like, he had a young old face. Handsome guy when he was younger, but young old face. So when I would see...
But the time that we thought he was young, he was already old.
He was already old.
Yeah.
So 1960...
Like 3, 4?
2 or 3 or 4, when he...
When he first hit the comedy stage.
And then within like 2 years, he was the man.
Yeah.
I Spy.
By 65.
By 65.
Yeah.
And he had already married Camille and all of that stuff. But the first stories, at least that we started to hear about with the Playboy Bunny, was in 1964.
Yeah, like around that.
It was like right around the same time.
My mother was 1.
So since then, that's, man.
Dude.
Mm-mm.
Dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that, like, and I think that's why this documentary and how it was done is important, because it's not cut and dry all the time. Like, even me, I'm risking saying it on the pod and people, think me crazy. I can own up to the fact that I still love this guy, but I am super disappointed and angry at what he did.
And people in the doc say that.
Because it's true. I don't know how to turn off.
You can, like, unknow everything.
Yeah, I'm like, it takes me a while. Darren, I've known you for years. I love you. Jen, I know you for years. You all right? So, like, no. But if I found out Darren was an axe murderer, I could be super disappointed.
Yeah, but you'll still love him.
And never talk to him again. But deep down, I love this guy, man.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I understand.
Same thing with this guy. Things he's done for the community, for the industry, all of that stuff. Why are you doing? You married, bro. What is wrong with you?
But I also feel like when you find out that those things were tainted with what's behind it,
yeah,
and like this, like I'm trying to still like I like the Cosby Show. Like I'm not. I don't know every episode in my mind like that, but
yeah.
I love the show, and so when you find out it goes through, I won't ruin it for you, but it goes through the Cosby Show and what he was doing with that, and you're just like, how can I not see this in another light?
Because you don't look at it like that at the time, right? It's not.
You'll get there.
You'll get there.
Well, no, like what we were watching earlier, Jen.
What are we watching?
The when you had put on episode 2.
Oh yes.
At the time, it's like, okay, but it's not until we get all the information, we're like, or most of this information, it's like, damn, that was right in front of us. But we ain't know.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was a kid watching Cosby, I had no idea about these allegations and nothing like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna think any of this stuff is weird. That's America's dad, and he's a black man. Whoa.
So I think I've mentioned this before that I had to take an ethics class once, and
Did nothing for you.
She's like, it didn't.
That was good. That was good.
Sorry.
Nothing. No rebuttal. Yes,
You
it
got
was.
me on that one. And we had to look at different ethical theories, and one of them was like, how do you measure the best option? Basically, we have 2 different things, and one of the different ethical theories was whichever one brings the most happiness. So if something can happen and it causes a little bit of happiness for a whole bunch of people, or a little bit of sadness for a whole bunch of people, or if something happens where it only affects one person really, really good or really, really bad, those 2 things are kind of even almost. You know what I mean? So watching this, it made me think of that, because I'm like, okay, what he did to these people was terrible. terrible, 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 terrible. If I could take it away from all these women, I wish I could. But then at the other side, you're like, but his impact on culture for not just black people, just people, America in general, was so grand.
Whoa.
So I think that's another part that we're struggling with, because it's like, if you get rid of Cosby, you get rid of
take
all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And are we willing to do that?
Ugh.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. And the I was trying to earlier when we were talking about it, the Chappelle bit where he's talking about Cosby and how he rounded up. Maybe you'll remember. Did you see the Chappelle stand up where he was mentioning the Cosby? And the bit at the end of the bit, he describes a man and all these different things. And then and he said he helps, but he rapes or something like that. Yeah. So it's that duality. It's like that doesn't, at least to me, it doesn't mean that other stuff isn't genuine.
Of course,
because
not.
both.
No,
can be
he was
true.
definitely a genius in what he did, and he was very deliberate about the things he was doing.
But this other thing, and that's why I
also
mentioned
deliberate.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned the maybe not even celebrity, because he was talking about the whole Spanish Fly thing early,
Dude.
But then he brought it up again late.
Yeah, and was hype about it.
He was excited about this stuff.
Talking to Larry King about
He was way too excited.
Which, like I said, I was watching it again, so I'm listening to it as I'm driving. Larry King knew.
yes.
A lot of people knew.
Well, so and that's the other thing. It doesn't exonerate Bill. They're all nasty, but I'm sure dudes was doing that. Like it, and I think it was I know they showed. This was so well done, this doc, and I only saw one of them. But they were referencing movies and shows where Spanish Fly was mentioned.
Yeah.
Was
I
one of them
remember
an
heard it.
actual commercial?
Yeah, it was like an ad, and I had heard those words before, even when I was a kid. So it's a well-known thing, but it's kind of like in another episode. I don't mean to spoil it, but they kind of compare it to alcohol. Alcohol by itself is not a date rape drug, but it can be.
It can be.
In the hands of a date rape person.
Yeah. You just keep feeding somebody drinks to help loosen their inhibitions.
So same thing with the Spanish Fly. At some point, it was probably more just like a party thing. People did, man, let's have a good time.
Yeah.
But if you give a certain amount and you don't ask the person, hey, you want to do this, you want to
With a
party,
certain intent.
now it's different.
Yeah, and that's this doc is so well done.
You know what? Since you didn't finish watching it, let's put a pin in it.
Yeah.
And come back to it next week.
because I really want to dive into this one, and I'm super vulnerable. Maybe it's you guys who make me feel comfortable. You know, those beautiful brown faces. But I could talk about this because just like he said, hey, let's just have a talk.
Let's just have a conversation.
Yeah.
I got to figure this out. As a kid, I woke up early and watched Bill Cosby by himself, the stand-up, and I'm dying at his dentist bit. But then I have to now deal with the fact that at the same time he's doing it's a lot, yo.
Crazy.
It's a lot.
I definitely was watching it like,
Yeah.
wow.
And then the industry as a whole, which is a whole nother conversation.
Sorry, pause. Is it just white women that he was doing this to?
You know, I thought that for
No.
the first 2.5 episodes, and then at the third
third
and
there
the
was
fourth,
okay.
and then
Yeah.
so they actually kind of broke it out because that was part of. So I won't spoil it, but that was part of the analysis as well.
Yeah. And when they had the trial and stuff, and there was like images of all the women, I saw a couple of black women in the mix or women of color.
It's crazy.
So
It is, but then
We're so flawed as humans. It's so great as humans and so flawed.
we
That's
can't
the
have
lesson.
we can't have power, yo. We can't have power.
It's exactly that.
We really can't, yo. We try our
We
best.
don't know how to manage it.
Darren, I think I gave the example. If I said, boom, you have all the money in the world right now, do you think you're going to move about the same way?
No.
You think you're not going to say to somebody who says no to you, what do you mean?
Hey, give me a titty. Like it's crazy stuff.
And it would take time to develop, but the same thing with like some athletes.
It would take time to develop.
It takes time.
And
It's
that's
not
what
right
happened.
away.
Because once
Right.
you start to get a little bit of bolder and a little bit more daring, I got away with it.
Yeah.
She didn't say anything. Well, let's try it again. Let's try more.
Aaron Hernandez, he's a sociopath, but he was getting away with stuff early. Teams, don't worry about it. You keep playing.
right.
Oh, yeah, we'll go to Florida. Oh, you did? Don't
I
worry.
ain't
We'll
gonna say, they ain't gonna say nothing to me.
it just layers on. We can't. It messes us up, yo. It's tough. It's tough. Like, man, it's because this is a person who really could have been like genuine, but something happened along the way that just.
they kind of get into
Do they?
that too.
Okay, good. Okay,
Kind
man,
of, but not really. But yeah,
I could do like a book report on this thing.
it's really good.
This would be great content for like a Patreon thing of ours.
Oh, let's think about it.
Ain't nobody giving us money.
You never know.
You'd be surprised.